slide. We don't want to talk about that.
Okay, these are mine.
Yeah? Your personal medical issues.
Basically, I had anterior uveitis. I was suffering with an eye disease that could have led to blindness. I had a background in medical research, so I started looking into various technologies. I was diabetic, had Lyme disease, arthritis, high levels of Epstein's Barr, bald. I was severe hair loss. So I had precancerous lesions on my skin, a couple of them removed. So it's in pretty bad shape.
So you began your research.
Yeah, basically started looking into some of the late Christopher Reeve's research. Started looking into the underlying inflammation, basically the term astrogeolosis.
Astrogeologist.
And basically started looking into.
And astrogeologist is a.
Basically, it's.
Peripheral nervous system.
Inflammation within the nervous system, and primarily looking at the primary cause being viral. So that's where I kind of landed in my research for my eye.
So that's what started.
Right.
Okay,
that's what started it. Basically, it came down to we're all made of DNA, and these viruses are basically corrupting the DNA. DNA is basically our storage method.
And this is where the viruses hide. They get into the nervous system and, of course, affect the muscular structure, the digestive system, and it sets fire behind the whole immune system. Now the immune system, it goes on guard, but it cannot find all these viruses. And why is that?
Yeah, basically, you have all these millions of machines starting to, act improperly, and you have a train wreck. You have the doctors basically, coming up with these diagnoses like sarcoidosis and this and that. They change diagnoses over time. So, but my research led me to believe that it was just massive amounts of viral load in folks, and that's where I started focusing my attention.
Mm-hmm. And of course, we don't want to put that word on anything right now.
Not really, no. I'll remove
I would skip probably most of that right there,
Yeah.
And so now we got this DNA inside the cell. It gets infected, right? And what happens at that point?
Well, basically, once a cell is infected, it's a machine. That's one of the trillions of machines within your body. And when enough machines start breaking down, you start to have side effects, which basically is illness.
Mm-hmm.
We put together, in part of our research, a giant tree, and we took all these various diseases and connected the viral roots to them. And what we saw was that all these various diagnoses, various disease names, were connected to just a handful of viral roots, which we found really astonishing. And even more astonishingly, was that these relationships were, up until 2014, were located right on Wikipedia.
Now, so what we're seeing here is, the top of the tree, and you got hundreds of diseases just listed like this, but they all start with inflammation. Okay, right. And that's inflammation now takes us into the cell, and a strong percentage of it is viral.
Right.
Viral.
Right. Because inflammation,
mm-hmm.
It's talked about a lot on all the various shows like Dr. Oz and so on and so forth, but they never talk about the source of the inflammation, which is inflammatory proteins that are made by damaged DNA, which is damaged by what?
Inflammatory proteins made by damaged DNA. And what damaged the DNA?
The viruses.
The viruses. Uh-huh.
And I'm not going to say that that's the only way DNA can be damaged. It could be radiation. It could be environmental. It could even be
but
food and GMOs.
But to prepare it again, what would have to happen? We know there's always normality at the cellular level. So how do we get this body to regenerate itself?
So that's the interesting thing here. So basically, we're looking at a plant basically called Thunder Godvine, also known as tryptorigine, that helps the body to actually see damaged DNA that is also not only damaged, but virus has a method of hiding that damaged area by bonding it together using something called HDAC, which is histone deoxykinase, which is basically glue between the DNA spirals that hold it tight and hold it unreadable.
So you're talking about
Basically, yeah. Like here is the bonded area, and here is the readable area, and this is what we want. And we have found that this natural herb can take viral code, which is unreadable, and transfer it into a readable format, basically by breaking the hiding bonds, which is really the story here. Which is really the story here.
So the cell can repair itself at that level. If you get this
Yeah.
viral load out of here, okay, and that DNA will what? Regenerate itself?
Well, see, the nice thing about it is that the vine doesn't actually do anything. It just basically makes it readable. After that, the immune system says, hey, I see something that's completely not right here, okay? We have to mount an immune response, and that can come in many flavors. It could be that the cell kills itself. It could be that the DNA in that cell has to be repaired because maybe it's a specialized cell that isn't allowed to be commit suicide because maybe it's holding memory.
Will
Maybe it's a neuron.
Will it stimulate regeneration?
Yes.
Or will it just get rid of the viral load, which will automatically regenerate the cellular structure? Which way does that go?
It depends on the cell type. So if it's a neuron that cannot be attacked by a killer T cell and cannot commit suicide because it's holding memory, then that has to be repaired. If it's a simple cell, maybe that cell will commit suicide and a new cell will be generated by the bone marrow as a stem cell. But the beauty of it is that there's no scar tissue, that this is a natural process, and this is how the body's supposed to react to foreign coat, to viral infected coat.
So, why can't we grow another arm back or fingers grow back? We should be able to grow our fingers back.
Well, let's just say that the code for your entire blueprint is contained within each cell, and they have even done experiments with this vine where they've cut the digits off of animals that had no viral load, and they have grown back. So it's not out of the realm of reality that the body, without any inflammation, if it were perfectly clean, which hasn't been accomplished to date, but it's not out of the realm of reality that, since it has been done experimentally, that it can't be done.
The etheric code is always. I gotta jump in here. The etheric code is always there. Sometimes I just don't want to forget things. I want to listen, but I got to. The etheric code is always there. Okay, that's why you can give people acupuncture out here, and they will feel it on their bodies. Okay, because we throw off this aura, and this aura is energy. It's etheric energy. Okay, and the body's a condensation of etheric energy. So the genetic inherent pattern is there all the time in that cellular structure. Now we got this cell that it looks like it's a piece of shit. Okay, it's broken down. It's got the viral load in there. It's got the DNA and RNA. It's got it all bound together in there. Okay, and if we release all this viral code and everything, then there's going to be enough sense in that cell that etheric body can go back and regenerate the body.
It has been accomplished in experiments. I'm agreeing with you.
Because when you take a picture of somebody's body in curling photography, they have many bodies, many layers of this body.
Yes.
And all layers are programmed perfectly, inherently into this etheric energy. So it's got to be the same at that level. So I would say that root would release that.
It has been accomplished. And even more importantly, they've done experiments whereas the inflammation within the entire nervous system, spinal injuries included, have been able to be healed. So, what we're saying here is that if we eliminated all the inflammation within the nervous system, that the nervous system can regenerate, because we've seen this in experiments. We've seen it with people that have taken this product that have had, very, very significant neurological degenerative diseases. We've seen the testimonies We have reported on these testimonies. We've seen it in study after study after study. Over $350 million, $1 billion in studies, peer-reviewed studies. What we're trying to do is now bring this to the attention of the general public. Now, it doesn't mean that we release this product as those types of solutions, because that would be too much of an undertaking. But what we can do is we can release this product as what we're talking about, which is a weight loss product that simply repairs the viral code in the muscle and allows that muscle to repair, to burn that fat, okay?
Yeah, we will connect the usage of this plant in weight loss, for bodybuilders, and even some of the physical and mental problems that we're all affected or affected about. This root being a foundational substance that strengthens all these systems will help many conditions, and we don't have to know why. We just experience.
Right. So we don't have to get into every single detail.
Yeah.
But
we're going to change the name of this to Smokey, though, huh? Didn't we agree that it was in our contract that we're going to change it to instead of Thunder God, it's going to be Thunder Smokey, something like that.
Right, we're going to smoke this.
So I want Rick to know that right
So,
up front.
but the history, just to cover a little bit, it was discovered in the late 1800s, but the reporting of it never made it past the Royal Botanical Garden. So that was a real,
So it got blocked back in the 1800s.
all the way back in the 1800s. So, and then now, there's been studies as long as 1972 that have shown its anti-cancer properties. That also has been subdued. So that's why, you yourself have really your work cut out for you.
So 100 years later, they come out with this information that they knew back in 1800.
Yes,
in other words,
yes,
you hear that,
yes,
Don?
Yes.
Liz?
Yes.
100 years later, they come out with what they knew during 1800. So in other words, it was suppressed for 100 years. This information.
Yes. And then again, even in the new studies by various colleges in 1972.
At Johns Hopkins University.
Right, and which is basically right here. We're seeing it right here, 1972. They knew of these properties, but didn't report upon them. So here this Johns Hopkins article is showing that in animal studies, it's blocking at very low doses all 60 lines of cancer, which is tremendous. But again, the public has no.
Now it blocks. We're not saying anything heals anything because
well,
we all know the truth.
That's how far that they can say.
Yeah, but I'm saying the truth. The truth is the body heals itself.
Yes,
we have to give it what it needs.
Just like you're wearing glasses. Once we put those glasses on the immune system, it knows what to do. We don't even have to. That's not our job.
That's a pretty good analogy.
Right. So yep. The studies exist.
$4.5 billion went into studying this.
Yes.
Triptolide.
Yes.
Who paid for the study?
The National Institute of Health.
Oh, NIH. Yes.
NIH. All the NIH studies. So the interesting thing is that the public can read these studies, and even if you're not a doctor, if you put in the word triptolide and disease name.
So it's triptolide. Is that the correct pronunciation?
Yeah, because it's triptorigine.
Everybody say it. Triptolide. Triptolide. Because I have not said it correctly yet.
So if you put in the word triptolide and the disease name, say you have blah 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 disease, triptolide, you'll probably get a hit in Google search, or triptolide or cholesterol, which is
tons of it out there. Cholesterol. There's a big article by Newsweek.
Yes.
On cholesterol and weight loss in mice. I just showed you.
CLASTROL and disease name on weight loss.
Is that a patented name, the cholesterol, or is
no,
that something that they're?
No, that's actually the compound name. So now there are companies that are attempting to patent the compounds as well. So yeah.
It's already into drug form by the medical profession.
They're trying to put that in a drug form. So there's a lot, but so what we're saying is in its natural form, it's its strongest. And there's studies that show that as well. And we're going to look at making that natural form even stronger.
What's the strength of the formula you have now in your flawless bottles?
Can we just finish the video? You said the video.
Yeah,
I'm getting tired too.
That's what it is.
So we have some also some studies on Epstein's bar, right? I had that, and basically I voided it on my blood work, which is at least one single case study. We can't publish that, but we can use that as motivation to look into it further.
You know something else, if we can help one condition, all those conditions are epidemics in this country.
Right. So, you know, you want to talk about this at all, or?
Yeah, I mean, that's something I know something about, yeah.
Okay, so,
So what is a healing crisis, and what is the difference between a healing crisis and a side effect?
healing crisis is basically, you know, for example, I had my eye problem with anterior uveitis.
Let me answer this one.
Sure.
I'm better at this one. A healing crisis is the body reversing itself. Damage has been done over a period of time. This process you explained to us, this is damage been done. Well, to get back to here, before this damage took place, the body has to go in reverse and heal itself, and that's what we call a healing crisis.
It's almost like first in, last out, or first in, first, yeah, but yeah, like that.
Yeah, and on its way back is where our thunder god, Vine, can start clearing out all these viruses and blockages of the RNA and DNA, or the DNA, right? To speed this healing crisis up, where before, us naturopaths, we would use juice fasts and different herbs and do all this stuff, and fast, and we'd produce all these symptoms, but we didn't know that those symptoms could be side effects of the viral load that we're carrying.
Right,
How about
that's
that
true. That's true, because you might have been doing more good than you were realizing even back then. But now we know. Now, and that's really the beauty of it. We know that we're interrupting viral hiding bonds, and we're causing our bodies to mount immune response.
Viral hiding.
Yes,
bonds, okay.
which is the same thing as, like I said, you're putting the glasses on the immune system, because now you're seeing the virus and you're mounting an immune response, a proper immune response. And it could be in the nervous system, the muscle, the heart, the lung. It doesn't matter where it's located. So it's broad based.
It could be
any cell type. Any cell type.
And would you say that there's many different types of symptoms for the same condition depending on the person and their viral load that they're carrying. So different conditions could be masked. I mean, I got asthma. He's got asthma. I do not have asthma. But let's say we got 10 people with asthma, right? If we can give each one the same drug or the same herb, and probably 2 of them might respond in a positive manner.
Whereas this, it doesn't matter if it's a plethora of different side effects, because everybody, like you said, might have a different side effect. We're not looking at that. We're looking at the viral load underneath of it. And what we've seen it works different for everyone, because it's basically just the immune system for that person's reacting to their past injuries, like you were saying before. So
the immune system, doesn't recognize all these viruses. Until they're exposed. So you can fast and you can do this and do that and take the best herb and stuff in the world.
And you can even eat perfectly.
And you can. I know. I just had a friend die of cancer, Cindy. Right. This girl never drank, never touched alcohol. Ate fresh foods. She was crazy. So healthy, and she just died of cancer.
And that's because even if you eat the best foods, they can still be put in inflammatory protein stacks, because the DNA is what puts them in order or out of order. And if they're out of order, that means that they're just garbage building blocks that have to be exhaled.
Oh, so the cell's going to actually produce inflammation.
Yes, instead of something good to heal the body with.
Because of the helixes.
Because the helix is ineffective with virus, yeah. And that's basically what it comes down
So
to.
you have cells producing inflammation all the time, and we're taking anti-inflammatories, and it's not even touching the real problem, is it?
No.
Yeah. No. We're still going to change the name of the product.
Thank you, folks.